The American FD RX-7, the Mullet Enhancer 9000, the car that makes you realize, wait a minute, do I actually like American cars? Was I wrong this entire time to spend $20,000 on a Nissan with 14 horsepower? I'm Alex Martini on Instagram, and today we're talking about a car that will 100% be overpriced in 3 years, but for now, it's getting built by people who have a on for VSKFs. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about how to modify a C5 Corvette. Welcome to the channel. We talk about cars over here. We unbox car parts on a channel called Martini Works Unbox. And if you love podcasts, we have a podcast that's been going strong. Year and a half, baby. Every freaking Friday, because we just know how to do it right. It's all about automotive news. But if there's one thing we need you to do, we need you to get your car ready for the season with martiniworks.com. So if you need wheels, suspension, coilovers, wheel and tire packages, because we do mount and balance tires as well, hit us up over there. Lowest prices every day. Martini Works, not Pizza Hut. But honestly, Pizza Hut, pretty good deals. Hold on. Let me throw on the goods. This is where I would put on jean shorts, but I don't have them. You see, we're entering Corvette land, where everything was a limited edition model, you're voting red, and jean shorts have a stranglehold on your white wire closet rack. Amongst the pantheon of sports cars, there's nothing quite like the C5 Corvette. And you'd be quick to remember that, brother. Coined as the first American luxury sports car, this marketing team ran on the cheers of winning wars and hating countries not connected to America. And I only say that half as a joke. The fifth generation did see one of the biggest jumps in the nameplate since the C8 because it was Chevy's answer to what they thought the 2000s were going to do to cars. Here's the thing to remember. We had Audi making the ugliest looking cars that were still dope, like the Audi TT with its short wheelbase and all-wheel drive system. BMW's answer to the 2000s was the E46, which was perfect in all things except looks. And Chevy's answer was, can we even afford that? Toyota took a play out of Chevy's book with the Supra because the C5 was actually initially developed primarily outside the walls of the GM factories to avoid the Corvette from getting axed altogether. And to keep it affordable and to keep it small, it was actually completed by a company known as TDM Inc. But once the boomers started telling Chevy they wanted the Corvette to be a Vette and not a Ferrari, all of a sudden the interest in the car actually reignited internally. And what we got was something truly special. We got a muscle car that shared barely anything with its predecessor, the company. Instead of trying to compete with what was then the Japanese 90s heyday, was instead a longer, stronger, and faster car with more cylinders, more Eagle, and more America. A 345 horsepower LS V8 with a rear-mounted transaxle gave it a near-perfect weight distribution, while the aluminum chassis central tunnel acted as one of the core pieces of the car, similar to what Mazda did with the NA and NB generations. Drive-by-wire equals fun to drive. It had a HUD because why the f not? Composite leaf spring suspension, which was kind of shit, but that's okay because it made it lighter and we'll fix it later. Why people like you and people like me would love the C5 Corvette is because it's everything you'd actually want in a car. It's stiff, baby. It's fast. It's reliable. It's easy to work on. It's cheap. It's kind of like a husband you didn't know you need. I don't know what I'd do to get a deal on one, but put me on a list because I do want one. So how do you modify this American FD? Well, easy, baby. Let's get into it because unlike the real FD, the C5 won't leave you stranded. And if it were to, there's 14 replacement parts on the shelf at O'Reilly's 0.6 miles away from you. Let's get the obvious out of the way. If you own a 2001 C5 Z06 manual, you will be dropping that off at the shop and leaving the keys immediately because that is one of my childhood dream cars. While most of us see the Z06 as the all-out premium vehicle of choice, you can still get a base model and have a treat of a time. Outside of that though, if you're looking to buy one, we stick to 2001 and newer C5s. Now before we mod them, make sure you fix your valve spring issues. Most should be handled by now, but some still sneak through and can cause valve failure, which is not fun because your whole engine blows. Now look at me. Let me tell you what you need to do. Long tube headers. Doesn't really matter what brand, okay? We're gonna make it loud, and that's okay because you own a C5. It's gonna cost you anywhere from $500 to $1,000. You're gonna get a Borla X pipe, okay, $500. You're gonna get a Borla catback exhaust for about a G. You're getting this from Martini Works, or the deer outside is gonna get it. Got it? Good. The links will be in the description, but you're gonna wanna make it loud because you got a domestic V8 and it's gonna sound rad. After that, we're going to drive to Kohl's and you're gonna steal your girlfriend's Kohl bucks and you're gonna start grabbing a pair of jean shorts and one of those hats without the top bit. I can't actually remember what it's called. Uncle Jeff used to wear one, and it made me uncomfortable even when I was a child. C5 Corvettes run wheels that have about 1 billion positive offset, which prevents you from running anything with concavity. So you're either gonna get a wheel with a flat face or a huge lip, or just a flat wheel. In all honesty, there's not a whole lot of options, but you can still make this look wicked though. See, I've seen a lot of people throw things like Kansei tandems on this thing, 18x9 plus 35 front and 18x9.5 plus 22 with a 235/40 tire and BC Racing coilover is gonna give you a stance setup. 18.9.5 plus 35 with a 235/40 is also a stance setup, which can work too with air suspension and a tight butthole when you're driving, because you might actually ruin your fenders, so you're gonna wanna be careful. But my favorite look is a TE37 combo, 18.9.5 35 fronts, and get this, 18x10.5 plus 57 rears. That's a flat-ass wheel, son. And for tires, 265/30 on the fronts, 295/30 on the rears with Eibach lowering springs, all of which you can get at martiniworks.com. Now, what I can say is you're gonna wanna be careful with your wheels and tires because you do not want to rub. While you're in the suspension part of the car, though, some poly bushings from Energy Suspension will be a nice update for the driving experience. Now, some anti-roll bars from Eibach, too, could do you wonders because the weak point on this car is the suspension, especially after you throw power at this thing, which is incredibly easy because you're playing with a naturally aspirated V8. As you start upgrading power, keep an eye on your rear axles though, as they do have a tendency to enter atmospheres as you get closer to that 500 horsepower range. Now, I'm an honest guy, and the interior of these cars is ugly as hell, so some seats will do you wonders. We like RaceQuip if you're building a race car because they're affordable and they're firm, but statuses are equally sick and bride if you want to turn your Corvette into a JDM icon. It's totally up to you. We found a lot of success with RaceQuip. Now, this is happening a lot, the whole JDMification of Corvettes, because it looks insane on air with work VSKFs and some stretched tires and intake headers and exhaust. Throw a couple stickers on there, and now you're a true sad boy, except this sad boy has emotional trauma and 440 horsepower, and it's super sick. So how do you modify a C5 Corvette? Easy, baby. You grab $15,000 and watch the world judge you as you choose to buy a car that doesn't have a turbo 4 or an inline 6, but stay strong because it'll get better, I promise. From there, you're going to spend about $5,000 on mods like Kansei wheels and Continental tires, along with BC Racing coils or Fortunato 500s if you're going to go to the track to get rid of the truck suspension it has. And while you get that from martiniworks.com, you're going to realize that maybe the 60-year-olds that were wearing jean shorts for 30 years had a point, because the car is like the same feeling as trying broccoli as an adult for the first time and realizing that public schools just f***ed up the formula and it actually tastes really good. Now, after long tube headers, an X-pipe, Borla exhaust, and a cold air intake, you'll find the jean shorts comfortable and the baseball cap comforting. And it has taken over your closet, and the 6 a.m. McDonald's runs with the boys actually sounds like a really good time. You own, in my opinion, one of the best domestic cars ever built on this beautiful green globe, and we did it right here in America. Now, you might find yourself wanting to go stance, which in this case, you'll need another $6,000 because the airlift kit that you're gonna throw on it is $3K, and the non-shit work VSKFs that you're gonna buy are another $3,000, which is why we give this car an 8 out of 10, because it is a stunning car and it's properly good with good suspension mods. But most importantly, when you go to modify your C5 Corvette, you do it with Martini Works, because we're actually going to help you build your car the right way and not the fast way. Let us know what car we should talk about next, and if you have one already built, add it to our build threads over at martiniworks.com. I'm Alex Martini. We'll see you on the next one.